This is a jig I made up from a piece of perspex, 1 metre long, 100 millimeters wide and 6 mil thick. So what I did was I put the router on here, drilled 2 holes to screw to the router base. That's I think it's an 8 mil hole for the bit to go through, and then up here is where your radius comes from. So I had to measure the radius of the corner to the midpoint. So the round circle where the router bit will go through pretty much lines up to the line I've drawn. So that should follow it all the way around. That's going to give you a constant radius corner. The line with the cross there is where I'll stop and join up to the routing strip. Of course, if you want a corner that's not perfectly circle or some weird shape, you can use that routing strip there, which I'll remove now, to route this slot. Flip her over, now put the nail in the right hole. Choose over here, make sure it's that one. Double check that. I always like to run the router bit along the line to make sure I'm in the right spot. So I will make sure I'm in the right one. Which is that one, I think. Is that one? That's where I'll stop. That's where they'll join. Righto. Take the plunge and do it. Wear a mask when routing MDF because the dust is very fine. It gets in your lungs. You don't want that happening. So now let's make a mess because MDF is renowned for making a horrible mess. Better. Oh yeah. So now I'll use a screwdriver to get the dust out of the slot. See how we're looking. Now I'll run some sandpaper through the slots to get the rough edges off it. And the reason I left the router in the slot there is so I can see how far I either have to go or have gone in comparison to whether the lane will straighten out. So I'll just move it back a bit. So that's pretty good actually there. So that's a good spot to stop. So I'll take the router off now and clean that part up. Righto, that's the first slot routed. So, being a child that I am, well, you know, we're all big kids at heart, I'm going to push a car through it. Now we'll straighten up down there and go down there. Nice! First slot cut. Now, I'll try the strip. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the strip down here to route the middle lane across the joint of the board here so I can complete this corner and remove this piece and put the next piece on over there. But instead of just routing across the joint and leaving it, I'm going to go right down. So I'm going to use a tape measure to measure out the distance from the middle slot to the outside slot to make sure I've got it right. Then I'll nail the strip down, run the rotor along it to make sure that it marks the line where I want to go, and then get stuck into it. Now I'll just run the router down the strip to make sure it's in the right spot. If it scratches the line, we're in position to route it. Right. It's pretty good, pretty close. So, always double check your nails, because if you've got a loose nail and you're routing down the strip with the gaps, the router will move against the strip and give you a little wobble which you don't want. So always check all your nails. Found one that wasn't hammered in. That's why you double check. Right, now have a look. What's the angle look like? Hopefully what I envisioned. Not a straight line, which is great. Oh yeah. Right, let's cut it. Always wear the mask when routing MDF. And just for fun like before, we're going to push the car through the slot just to get a feel for it. I'll electric V8 supercar. pretty good. And awesome. Righto. So now I'll put the strip in the slot I've routed and run the router down each side, which is the easiest way to get parallel lanes. And this is what I use, this thing. Make sure that's in firmly, otherwise it'll dislodge when routing and that'll make a horrible mess and require bog or whatever you want to fill it with. So now I'm going to run the router down the strip each side to give the parallel lanes on the knot straight. Always wear a mask, important. And back again the other side. Righto, push a couple of cars through just for fun. Awesome. That's enough for today. I'll come out tomorrow and hopefully route parallel lanes around there to the next piece of track. I'll do this one. Sorry, that's the one. What I've got to do is route the drive-through lane, pit lane first, then get the strip and bend it to the pit bays, then route the exit lane which comes here, and the safety car lane which will go off to there. And then we can move on that way. Thanks for watching.